What would you do if you were mere seconds away from someone trying to expose your inverted nipples? Would you cry? Would you be shocked? Or would you make a promise that if you managed to break free, the only weapon you'd use is your fists? Well, that's what I did. Because a necromorph invasion happened, baby! So I gave this wet wipe, what we call in Wales, a goodbye, and I was on my way. Until I ended up being in the arms of a man. We stayed into each other's souls until he gave me some health and advice to stop being a K-pop stan. I make my way through the psychiatric ward, only to equip kinesis and to learn that I have dementia. But I'm only going to use kinesis for puzzles, pulling objects, etc, etc, and paying my respects, so I can't be impaling anybody. The psychiatric ward is where I encounter the slashers. They have a big slack jaw and scream at you, so I made sure to execute the KSI technique. For those of you who don't know what that is, it means swinging my haymakers like I'm on the spectrum, except for this one slasher who acts like a baby. I couldn't run past him, definitely couldn't melee him, so this one you have to shoot. I also equipped stasis, and I will be using this, since this doesn't directly kill anyone, and it is just... But the pukers are lurking around that corner. They gag and vomit all over you. Even meleeing them makes me enter rigor mortis, and since my health is currently low, I channel my inner Naruto and run to the elevator. But then a window gets blown out and I'm forced to shoot my gun. Otherwise, I drift off into the void. But I finally get to put on my suit, and it's time to clap some cheeks. This is where I meet the tripods, who much like a mentally disabled person, they don't know their own strength. They would make scary noises as they approach you that would make my rectum quiver in fear. So I needed to hatch a plan. But fortunately for my rectum, there was a stasis recharge in this room, which means I can easily part this tripod's cheeks and taste his anal juices. Wait, are you challenging me? I also came across a workbench where I can put all the power nodes I find and upgrade certain aspects of myself. I put all my nodes into stasis since that's the only thing of use to me right now. I make my way through the residential area, and this is where it gets crazy. People start dying, people begging me to help, but what do I do? What do I do? Oh, I just don't know. And some weird man decides to FaceTime me.
Let me tell you something! Why are you calling me?
But one thing to be wary of in the residential area is necromorphs hiding in the vents. To avoid getting your anal cavity breached, you need to slow walk through here. You see, normally the necromorphs are in the vents just chilling, breathing through their balls, but the moment they start to smell your scent and hear you running, they get all excited. But once you get closer and closer and closer, boom, your anal cavity is 5 fingers deep, so the best course of action is to tread lightly. But I also encounter the leapers and the exploders. The leapers also lunge at you and bounce around the battlefield looking for an opening, so putting these in stasis is a must because oh my god dude. And the exploders can always be noticed by their high-pitched noises, so I would stasis them, walk near them to trigger them to explode, then back away and BAM! But as I made my way towards the train station, I came across an infector. These little nonces levitate through the battlefield looking for bodies to turn. If I saw these cucks, I'd smash. But once I arrived on the train, I realized that my cheeks were about to be treated like a bowling ball. Hordes of necromorphs flood in and I have to defend myself. But I made sure to master the art of the windmill punch, until I decided to fly to a train, slide down a train, and then hang from a train. And I must shoot my gun, since you can't melee here. I also come across the pack, which are kid necromorphs. The pack usually takes one punch. Sometimes these kids like to ride you, and there's 2 reasons why I like having little children ride me. Number one is because all the other kids just stand back and wait their turn, which gives you a lot of breathing room. And number 2... But after talking to the strange man, Stross, I realized that me and him were starting to become best friends. So to find my new best friend, I have to make my way through the church area, which is where I encountered the stalkers. Stalkers suffer with a crippling social anxiety and would hide behind things. But when they decide to come out, they will make loud noises as they charge at you. So I'd find myself a corner, stasis them, and start executing the windmill technique. I also get thrown to the ground, and I get forced to use my gun. I met the girl who says I have dementia, but she captures me, and I'm confused. Why? But fortunately, she gets killed and I escape. Me and this tormentor have some hijinks, and unfortunately, I have to shoot this guy. But then I ran, and I ended up hurtling through space. I get forced to use my gun again, and I shoot off and end up in yet another church area with Stross ringing me. Whoa dude, take a step back.
Hello?
This time I'm facing off against the chunky pregnant, the explosive cysts, and the elusive lurkers. These fat bastards always charge at you like you got a McGriddle in your pocket, so I knew I'd have to use the windmill punch straight from the KSI vs Logan 2. But if you don't kill them quick enough, mini necromorphs pop out of the body and start making me mosh, but they deal like 0 damage. The cysts were a different story, shooting deadly projectiles into the air if I get into their safe space. It's like dealing with the exploders but without the stasis, and boom. As for the lurkers, they were a sneaky bunch, attached to the walls and shooting at me from the shadows, but I had a secret weapon, my Fortnite dancing abilities. I hid where they couldn't see me, then I'd hit the griddy, they get insanely curious, come down to observe, then bam! But then I came across a girl who is built. Oh god, she's approaching me, what do I say? I'm Isaac.
Not a chance, Isaac.
Ellie rejects me and I decide to stalk her by going through the elementary school and encountering the crawler. The worst thing you can do to these babies is melee them. They will just blow up, so the best thing to do is walk in and walk out.
You just got pranked, bro.
This school is filled to the brim with babies crawling everywhere, which are easy to kill. But in this segment, I have to turn off Dream's latest video, which reveals hordes of his fan base, so children and babies, of which I love to have ride me. Because of the fact that they wait in the background, obviously, but then an infector slides on in, and I hate them, so I'd restart the checkpoint, stomp on all the bodies laying around, which leaves the infector useless. But I came across Ellie and my new best friend, so I decided to shoot my shit and introduce myself. Here I go. My name's Isaac. But just when things couldn't get worse, a bald man I've never seen before decides to shut off the power and air, spawning in the brute. The brute lets out a terrifying scream and is pretty much impenetrable from the front, which actually kind of works out in my favor because I like to penetrate from the back.
You know what I'm saying?
Fortunately for me, I had gathered a few stasis packs before this battle, which helped me to spread his cheeks, like spreading a slab of butter over a nice warm piece of toast. But Ellie asks me a stupid question.
Isaac, are you alright?
And then she couldn't stop asking me questions.
Why did Tideman turn off the... What did you do to piss me? Why is it real?
My attraction for Ellie was at an all-time low, until I stumbled upon a necromorph sticking to a wall, making noises that sounded just like my parents when my dad would wrestle my mother at night. I tried to walk past it, but my head was gone. I would stasis it. No matter what I did, my head was gone, so I had to resort to using my gun. As if that wasn't enough, I had to deal with 3 beefy tripods trying to lick my nipples. But luckily, keeping my distance worked. I also made sure to put the rest of my nodes into stasis and any other nodes I come across into HP. But on my way to find my best friend, I'd find myself getting trapped between 2 lasers. Once the necromorphs cross that laser, it would blow up the red barrels and leaving me with a choice: shoot or become a body pillow. But if you move these 2 red barrels before you get trapped, the window won't get blown out, thus breaking no rules. Thank you to Rocom Bosco for the guide, appreciate it. But then I came across a necromorph turret programmed to shoot cum bullets right into my anal cavity. But since I'm used to having things shoot into my anal cavity, I would take it, and they don't really deal much damage. But the enhanced slashers with their red eyes were even harder to kill. They would appear out of nowhere and slap the juices off my booty, and I would usually use 2 stasis charges on them. And I needed a better defense for these guys, so I decided to save up all my pocket money and buy the security suit, a suit that would make my nipple salute just by looking at it. With a 10% armor increase and 15 inventory slots, I was a one-man windmill generating enough power to light up a small continent, only to listen to Ellie whine like a little bitch.
I was right here this morning with a crew of 30 people.
But I finally met back up with Stross and Ellie, and I have to go through that door.
The door is jammed.
So I had to fly through the processing plant, avoiding lurkers, necromorph turrets, a bald man threatening me, only to find Stross reaching breaking point. Ellie just wouldn't shut up, and Stross was losing his mind. I made a promise to Stross to keep him safe. I just needed to find a way out of here so I could save my best friend.
Industrial transport upstairs. Runs on the same spot.
So I encounter the necromorph that makes me turn the volume down if my parents are in the room. So anytime these come up, I have to break my rules otherwise. So to fix the train, I have to get past a sea of necromorphs. But since these necromorphs aren't rude, they will not follow you through a door. They'll just stand there and be all like, "You're going down a path where I can't follow." But sometimes they throw caution to the wind and chase you. I head onto the train, but Stross just couldn't take Ellie anymore. He was starting to lose it, and I was watching my best friend slowly become a husk of his former self. But that's when I encounter something I've never seen before. It's a woman driving, which made my anxiety reach an all-time high. And I honestly thought I was going to die until my nightmare became a reality. Ellie got the train stuck, so I found myself getting out of here before she could chew my ear off. So I have to work my way through stalkers, cysts, weird sex noises, and I use fuel canisters to get the train unstuck, but then a tripod materializes, and I'd find it easier to just stasis it and keep throwing fuel canisters at the objective since she's kinda slow. Clever girl. I find myself back on the train where the bald man rings me and starts telling me important news that I surely don't want to miss. Ellie, please, I'm trying to listen.
Isaac?
So I had to come up with a plan to board the Ishimura to get rid of Ellie. But the Ishimura is built like an escape room. Scary atmosphere, puzzles, people chasing you. But I did come across two brutes who nearly gave me the biggest scare of my life. I was stuck in an impossible situation, sandwiched between two brutes, ready to be crowned a throat goat. One brute I can clap, but two ain't no way, boy. But to my surprise, a squabble broke out between two titans on who could taste my anus nectar, and one brute killed the other. But my plan to get rid of Ellie was coming to fruition until I started an ODST drop to meet back up with Stross, but I came in too hot. Next thing I know, my guardian Black Angel was summoning me back to my physical body. But that's when I saw Stross reaching boiling point, and I needed to save him. So I ran through this area coming across enhanced slashers, enhanced pukers, Isaac's decimated body more times than I'd like to admit, until I came across Stross going cray cray. I tried calming my best friend down by telling him the sun's getting real low, but then Ellie emerged from the shadows and gave Stross a bonk. I then get manhandled only to emerge doing puzzles that for the life of me I just couldn't figure out. But I could hear Stross's faint cries through that door, but as I open it he starts wrestling me. I begged him to stop, even pleaded with him, but Stross couldn't be reasoned or bargained with, so I had to put him down. I was beyond sad, so I picked up my best friend's decaying corpse, carried him to his final resting place, and paid my respects. Me and Ellie team up, but oh my god, she will not shut up. Thankfully, I haven't come across anything that causes my nipples to quake in their boots just yet. I mean, sure, the enhanced slashers were starting to weigh my hair thin, and the forced combat sections were causing me distress. But I'm not locked in here with them. They're locked in here with me. My windmill punches causes enough gravity force to pull them into orbit, where I can polish them off before they even realize who I am. I fixed the mining drill, and my plan of getting rid of Ellie is getting closer.
I didn't hear you.
On the way to the government sector, hordes of necromorphs tried to milk your nipples, but my nipples were not going to be milked on this day. My windmill punches were at top peak physical performance, but there was only one enemy who could escape my orbit, the lurkers. The only way I could avoid the lurkers was by doing laps of a mining rig, and my plan of getting rid of Ellie finally pays off. This is for you, Stross. As I think about Stross and the friendship we formed, the bond that was created, I get a call from the bald man threatening me.
You won't get caught.
Wait, are you challenging me? So to complete the bald man's challenge of clapping his cheeks, I enter a good old Mexican standoff where I can either get shot or I can channel the power of Paul Blart, sprint towards the door, make my way through the abandoned toilets, crawl through the narrow vents, and open the doors for the necromorphs and watch the men who were shooting at me get killed. But opening the door has now made an army of necromorphs that will surely tickle my anus sphincter if I don't strategize a worthy plan.
Run. Get away from me!
Believe it or not, running away is a worthy strategy that I use in any sort of IRL combat, but there was one segment where I couldn't use the mighty run. Inside that dark, ominous hole is a shipment of the finest necromorphs getting ready to fold me up like a $1 pretzel, and my nipples were starting to invert to their primal state with each passing second. Despite wave after wave after wave of necromorphs trying to penetrate me, I devised a plan to use the exploders against them, and that is how you turn the tide of the war, until I approached an enemy who could regenerate from the dead no matter how many times you tried to kill it.
What is up?
But no matter how many bonks to the cranium, my windmill punches couldn't generate enough velocity to permanently kill it. But there was one strategy I was overlooking. Run.
Get away from me!
After running for so long, I came across the bald man who treats me like a pincushion. But I really don't have time for his shit, so I crown him the throat goat and then kind of awkwardly just wait for him to pass into the shadow realm, since I don't want to break my rules, I guess. Well, this is very awkward. But then I get astral projected inside my own head, with my dead wife haunting me, and the only saving grace was having little children try to ride me till sundown. Because of the fact that it gives me some breathing room, obviously. Come on guys, use your head. My dead wife haunts my dreams, and unlike IRL, giving her the good old windmill punch doesn't do shit but only makes me commit. So I decided to shoot her to progress, and that pulsating, throbbing, veiny heartbeat, I also shoot, and just like that, my guardian Black Angel summons me back to my dementia-riddled body, and then I think about Stross and the life we could have built.
You complete bastard.
Shit. So, can you beat Dead Space 2 with nothing but the gifts my girlfriend fears? No. No, you can't. So thanks for watching. Subscribe because I get sad. And I'll see you all in the next one, guys.
Bye. Have a beautiful time.